welcome back one more time to another showcase of my collection of miniatures. In front of us, we have my Republican Roman skirmish force. Now, generally, I consider myself a big gamer, where I not only am I overweight, I mean that I usually collect larger size armies. I like the mass effect, so it wouldn't be unheard of for me to collect a couple of thousand figures, and I do have some collections that go above that. I have a few that go over 5,000 figures, and we'll get to them. But for the last year, and mainly since COVID lockdowns happened, right now it's was it April 2021, almost the end of April 2021. Well, since about February 2020, I have had a hankering to collect skirmish-based games. Projects that don't take a lot of my time, that I can finish in a month or so, and just get some fun skirmish gaming out of it. And it's easier when your main gaming partner during lockdown is your wife to play a skirmish game. So I have collected many actually. I don't want to show my collection. I'm going to turn the camera here. Now you have to forgive me for the mess, but right there we see my Perry collection of Agincourt. You can see some more Romans over there. You know, there's I've collected quite a bit in the last year, skirmish wise. For some reason it excites me to buy one box of figures and get 40 or 50 figures out of it, and be able to create generally an army from start to finish out of just that one pack. But I'm starting to ramble. Excuse me. Now, if my cat jumps on the table here, which he looks like we might have an intruder here. So I'm just going to try and talk quietly and get him distracted. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I have to do that. I'm not very good at editing videos or at all, so I have to do that kind of stuff from time to time. So anyway, Republican Romans. They're a mixture of Victrix and Aguima Miniatures. Now, the reason why they're a mix is that I already had Aguima Miniatures painted up for the Velites. Here, if you hear me pausing, it's because I'm looking at my cat, who's going to jump on the table like that. There he goes. So we'll have to do it with him in the picture. Come on, buddy. Yeah, come on, buddy. Down on the floor. I love cats. Anyway, well, I shouldn't say that. I love that cat. He's cute. I've had him since a little baby. He was abandoned. His mother had died, and he was sick, and he was a runt, and we nursed him back to health. And I took a month off work just to get him back to health. I didn't know if he was going to survive. So anyway, I allow him to do that and distract my video. Anyway, I'm very sorry for that interruption. But the reason why I already had a force of Aguima Miniatures painted up, but I loved the Victrix style. So I bought the Victrix box set, and I painted them all. And then when it came to the Velites, I'm like, no, I'm just going to leave the ones that I have. They're good enough. There's nothing wrong with them. So there's kind of a style difference there between the two. But anyway, what you see here in front of you is a skirmish force laid out for two different rule sets. The first one being Clash of Spears. It's rather new. It's actually this whole box set, apart from them, are from their Clash of Spears Roman starter set. And maybe I can get that off camera here. Just give me a second. Yeah, there we go. I found it. This one, Clash of Spears. Okay, can I get that in camera? So basically, I painted everything in this set except for the Velites. So, and then I added a couple extra pieces, but we'll just leave it at that. So I'll put that there behind there, just so you know what it's about. So this is the starter set, or the box set rather, and it has what I painted. I painted two. So I'm getting ahead of myself. So Clash of Spears and Age of Hannibal. Not Age of Hannibal. Sorry. Saga Age of Hannibal. That's the well-known Saga rule set, but in ancient times. So what you have two units of warriors, which would be the Principes, I believe they're called. I got two units, one and 2 over there of, I guess they're Triarii, but they're the, I guess in the Viking Age it'd be like the herdmen. I know that doesn't make sense. The elite 4-man units that you get in the Saga rule set, and then of course you get the Velites and some cavalry right here. And this fella in here is obviously the leader on foot, and he's the hero on horse. I may have butchered that. You gotta forgive me. I'm not the smartest guy, but essentially, it was probably one of the easiest projects to paint. You know, miniatures are kind of difficult to paint, but I slogged my way through this, and I found them not that hard. I'm just going to go through what I used in case it's useful to anyone, and I'll start with this Sarissa Precision temple. Now, I bought this temple thinking it came painted, because my only experience so far with MDF terrain had been foreground, and I don't know if you've used foreground, but it comes pre-colored, and that's what I thought it was. So when it showed up and it was just plain wood color, I was like flabbergasted. Like, how am I gonna paint this thing? Well, it turned out to be a lot easier than I thought. And you're probably gonna wonder, like, hey, it doesn't look too bad. And to me, it looks okay. It looks great to me. There's only 2 colors on there. There's white and there's like a reddy color, like a rust color. They're both aerosol cans from the local hardware store. One was just white, flat white, and one was red ochre. And I thought I was going to have to do a whole bunch of stuff. This was just supposed to be the priming job. They're just primer. It's just white primer and red oxide primer, I think. And I just sprayed the roof red oxide and the building white primer, and then I was going to paint them. And then when I brought them in, I'm like, wait a minute, this looks fine. And because you can't really tell, but because the MDF wood kind of seeps through, the primer kind of soaks into the wood, it actually made it look kind of marbly. So I left it. And that was the easiest thing I've ever painted in my entire life, was this temple. And it looks right on. The next thing is these figures here. And I'll take one of the Velites up for a closer look, but this is the Aguima Miniatures Velite, and he was painted years ago, so forgive the terrible paint job, but I didn't feel like repainting him. But the basing is the Luke's APS Mediterranean basing system. So I just, on the MDF base, the plain wooden base, I just put some glue on, dipped him into that thing, shook it around, and that's how he came out. And basing for all these guys took me about 12 minutes. And they look good to me. Now here is a close-up of a Principe from Victrix with the shield transfer from Little Big Men, I think. Again, I'm not the best painter, but you know what, at this level, they don't look bad. Here's the Triarii. Triarii, I don't know. I'm going to get crucified for pronouncing these things wrong. The one good thing about having a gaming partner such as my wife, not know a lot about history, is I can get all the names wrong I want, and no one says anything to me. I don't get corrected. Whereas if I go to my friend's house and I get the names wrong, I'm constantly being corrected on pronunciation. They're grammar Nazis. Anyway, here is the Centurion, I guess, the leader. You know, a magnificent figure. I did find, though, that the Victrix command sprue, you didn't get that many options for posability. So you basically had this pose, and then a hand or a sword. It was actually, if you needed to paint 5 or 6 of these particular fellas, a couple of them are going to look the same. Let's do the Cavalryman now. Again, very simple. The main reason why I don't spend a lot of time on horses, why the horses always look bad, is because I just want the game. I just want to play the game, and to speed up the process, I contrast painted the horse and the cloak. Now, I don't normally like to do contrast painting and regular painting on the same miniature, but you know, you just get the figure on the horse. You put a really nice decal on there. You make it flat, and you highlight the face a little bit. And I think basically it all works out in the end. At table level, no one really has anything wrong or bad to say about them. So here's the commander on horse. You know, obviously forgive the paint jobs, but nothing wrong with that. To be honest, it's just a gaming piece. It's not a display piece. And then here's the general, and the general is probably the worst painted thing of them all. Contrast painted the cloak and then tried to highlight it a little bit. And with contrast paints, I find that they're a little glossy, so sometimes I dull them down with flat clear, and then I paint on top of them again with a regular paint just to tip the highlight. But there's that. So there's that guy. So that's a quick video on my Romans. I do have the Carthaginians, I have Gauls, I have Macedonians, but we'll show them at a later date. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you are interested in starting ancient skirmishing at all, the Victrix, this box set is phenomenal value for this game system. It has all the figures that you need. I mean, I'm not sponsored by them, but let me just... That's what you get in the box. Now, obviously, I have more here than that, but you know, you even get some Samnite allies, which I didn't paint, I guess. And there you have it. I mean, Roman box set from Victrix. The only thing that's better than this is the Carthaginian one. And I had collected 0 Carthaginian figures over the years that weren't 6 mil or maybe even 10 mil. So the Carthaginian box set was amazing. And I'll show that up next. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day.